All right, we welcome Ethan Hannaford to the program. You were down there, boots on the ground, Ethan. Did you happen to see Oliver Marmol's post-game commentary? If so, I want to start. Was there any mention of Ryan Vilade post-game? Because that is a big one. So that was not something that necessarily came up. Not super surprised by that because there was a lot going on in this one. But obviously, that has been a big topic of conversation for Cardinals fans. Let me just, and I'll pepper you with a few things that you want to see what you took away from what Oli did say. But start with Vilade. Your thoughts on him? I've been telling people I would have gone Pozo, but I also look at Vilade being in a spot right now where it's kind of sink or swim for maybe his future with the organization as a bunch of double-A outfielders are getting ready for triple-A. He had good triple-A numbers. If this was the time to use him, let's see it. My view, they've kind of seen it now, but what did you think of the Vilade moment? There are a couple of moments there from that, Ethan.
I can tell you, sitting here watching it, I understand the frustration. I mean, I'm sitting here just as frustrated, and like you said, I think I understand to a certain extent why. I think it is, I would agree, sink or swim. Like, this is, you're finding out basically everything that you have right now. But, I mean, it's been pretty much an obvious understanding of what he is going to be when he is up at the plate. I mean, he has not looked competitive at all. When he entered against Little in the seventh inning, was it the seventh inning, I believe?
Yeah, I think that's right.
It was 3 pitches. I think 2 of them were swinging, and it was a breaking ball and below the zone that he struck out on. So it was frustrating in that sense of you understand why they're taking Gorman out. It's lefty. That's a very good lefty that they're bringing into the game. It's had a lot of success this year, gets a lot of strikeouts, has some funky stuff, tough sinker, good knuckle curve. You understand why. But then for it to be Vilade that they're bringing in, I mean, I understand that the numbers the platoons probably tell you that Vilade is the better option there in that situation. But based off of what we've seen from him up to this point, the eye test doesn't tell you it is. Which I know you can't go off of that, but as fans, that's what you're going off of. So I get the frustration right there. As far as Pozo, people bringing Pozo up in that situation, I mean, you have 3 catchers. You used the other one tonight in the 9th inning. I don't see why not. I get it. I think I would probably agree. I'd rather see Pozo in that situation as a designated hitter. It's not like you're bringing him in defensively.
And even if you had an injury, suddenly, okay, if you had to, you're talking 11th inning, right? Okay, fine. Pozo, you pull the DH and you can, pinch hit Barrero if the DH comes up again. Like the catcher thing is not a reason not to do it. If Pozo's spot is going to be what he is, he needs to be Luken Baker, who happens to also have a catcher's mitt in his locker. You have to be willing to use him.
The bigger problem right now that we're seeing is that the Cardinals have a serious lack of right-handed hitter depth. That's the big problem, or at least right now, without Jordan Walker here, it's showing in the outfield, right? And I even had someone saying to me tonight, why not start getting Thomas Saggese some reps in right field, like in AAA at least.
You don't need to though.
Bring him up.
Can we be real? Brendan Donovan shifts to the outfield, and if you wanted Saggese to have been here this past week, he could have been. But we talked about this in our previous show together, Ethan. We don't maybe know exactly the extent to which they anticipated all the lefties in a row because there was a doubleheader in there. Cole Reagans gets activated from the IL. Kershaw gets moved back into the series on Sunday instead of him pitching today in another city. So that's part of it. Like, they didn't expect so many chances, but the Vilade thing's been like a week, and so maybe they hoped Walker would be ready at the minimum, and then once it happened that you would see all you needed to see from Vilade, but now it's kind of dragging out a little bit. So I hear you 100% on that.
Yeah, I mean, it almost feels right now like a waiting game to get Walker back up here. They said he could have started his rehabilitation as soon as tonight. I don't know if he did. I didn't hear anything.
Well, Monday there's nobody playing, right?
Monday. I was thinking it was Tuesday. Yes, tomorrow. So we'll have to wait and see if he starts his rehab tomorrow in Memphis. Hopefully he does, because the sooner that he is back, the sooner no more Ryan Vilade. And it's nothing against the guy. It's just it has been an automatic out, and it hasn't been competitive at bats when he's been up here. in a couple of big spots tonight. And I understand why fans are frustrated about that, because even sitting here at the ballpark, I was frustrated in that situation. And I have to imagine probably like everyone is a little bit frustrated at the situation. It is clearly shown to be like a lack of right-handed hitter depth. I would be curious, and I wish that someone would have asked. I could have for all I care, but I wish someone would have asked about the thought process of Pozo in that situation. I have to imagine the answer probably would have gone back to the catcher. Who knows if that would have been the actual reason, but I imagine probably what we would have heard.
And if it was, I would disagree with it, actually. And I would be, and I would be curious. I'm not going to be a pregame tomorrow.
You're carrying 3, so I mean.
You're carrying 3, but like I have, and people say, well, Brenden does too much of defending the roster construction. And I'm like, it's way better. Brandon Crawford's not here. Taylor Motter's not here. Like, there are a lot of things to say that there's some more useful pieces on that bench. But you have to consider the role. And that's why I've been kind of defensive of, I don't care about the 3 catchers thing, because you can operate as though it's not an issue.
Yes.
But they haven't really done that.
Yeah.
And so that's where I would get a little bit critical and say, look, Luken Baker was here, and then he was sent down when Herrera was activated. That means Pozo is basically filling that Luken Baker role. And I know that Herrera's not catching all the time, but it's about viability late in a game. He was in this game tonight. You're going to go to Pages in the 9th inning because you got to lead. That's totally fine. But Pozo's spot still has to be the one that's like what Luken Baker was serving to be. Otherwise, if you're tying up too much into, well, he's a catcher, then that doesn't fit. That would be, I would have to capitulate on defending the roster. And like right now, we're consistently seeing, for a while it was, Oli doesn't want to pinch hit anybody because he wants the guys he started to take those chances, whether it was Walker, whether it was Gorman, whatever, Burleson. I was cool with it because it's like, no, this is the runway part we talked about. But this was a situation where you did pinch hit for Gorman, but you did it with a guy that's not going to be here in a week. So, and I'm, you know what? If you do it in the 7th inning, whatever. You're down 3-0, whatever the score was, 2-0 at the time. In the 9th inning, I know it might hurt his feelings, but I think Pozo gives you a better chance to put bat to ball in the 9th inning when you're like, we damn sure cannot lose this game after we stole it from him. I mean, the Cardinals stole the game on Ivan Herrera's amazing swing, and we've hardly talked about it tonight because everything that happened after that. Helsley, yes, we talked a lot about the concern there. What is Oliver Marmol's concern on Ryan Helsley, your sense after hearing from him postgame?
Seems very low right now. He was asked about the last 3 blown saves, specifically if there's anything in common that Marmol is seeing that has led to those, and he said no. Obviously, we know about all of the weird things that went on in Saturday's game that led to the blown save, the base hit for Ohtani off the bag, the bloop single, the drop third strike. Right, we know about all of that. And tonight, more as a whole, it felt like it was a random game in that sense, but it was more so, I think, stretched out to the entirety, not just the 9th inning specifically. He talked about how the big thing that got him there was he fell behind in the count, and as a result, he had to get back into it. And and he had a fastball that was middle, and the guy was ready for it. Clase was ready for it and jumped all over it. And so he said, really, you can't afford to get behind in that situation. You have to chase. You have to go after the 9-hitter with the top of the lineup coming up. It's an out you have to get, especially with the speed that Clase has. And unfortunately, a guy that was batting, I think, 201 going into that at bat, had no home runs on the year, got the best of Ryan Helsley, who last year was the best closer in baseball. It's been a little bit of a bumpy road up to this point for Ryan Helsley, but he did not notice any. He said that he did not notice anything in common in all 3 of those. And I'm trying to think of it if there was anything else mentioned specifically with Helsley.
But not a lot of concern. Like, and people were saying, what's the breaking point going to be? And I said, I don't think we're there yet.
No,
not close to it, guys. So just